I taught online supply and demand, or is it demand and supply? And like I said earlier, I did the same TED Talk, but I named it this because of the way she demanded change and then she supplied it for other people. So I want to tell you about it a little bit more. Could you imagine looking this sweet girl in the face and telling her that she wasn't allowed to have goals or ambitions? This is actually my daughter, and that's exactly what Kikini was told. She was told that she wasn't allowed to have dreams, that she was supposed to be a wife, and already engaged at 5 years old, and she wasn't allowed to continue on her education. By the time she was a teenager, she was required to go through a rite of passage, and as graphic as it is for that particular village, the rite of passage was a female circumcision, and that was what they were required to go through before they were passed on to their husbands, basically, and be servants to them to cook and clean and take care of the family. And so she told her dad that that wasn't what she wanted, that she wanted to continue on and go to school because she did want to be a teacher and she did want to become an educator, and she said the only way she would go through the rite of passage was if he agreed to let her go on to high school, and so he did. So she, through her TED Talk, actually explains the process, which I won't, but it was brutal, and it just kind of got me thinking about my own daughter, and if I would allow my daughter to go through something that drastic and life-changing for her not even to do something that she wanted to do. So she ends up finishing high school and gets permission from her elders to leave the village to go to college, which is something that a woman had never done before. And she went to Randolph-Macon College in Ashland, Virginia. And when she was done, while she was there, she began to spread the word about the issues that were going on in her community, the things that she realized, oh, this isn't normal. Things that she had grown up to believe were traditional and happened everywhere. It wasn't. She realized that this is not okay. This is not what women are supposed to be doing. So she did go back, and she worked with the village elders to build a school for all girls called the Kikini Center for Excellence. It was established in 2009 and started with only 32 girls. And they try and, they keep them safe, and they're taught 8 core classes, kind of like we are, and they're in the process of developing a health program that lets the girls know about the rite of passage they went through and to help them understand all of the things that go on with the body and to let them know about what's going on. So the school that started out with only 32 girls now is full of girls that are safe and will be educated, and was all because of this one person. So could you really tell this face that you can't achieve your dreams? You can't achieve your goals. Just like I said, this is my daughter Kinsey. She is 15 months old, and she is just a ball of fire. But I just, as a mom, I couldn't imagine telling her, no, you can't be a teacher, you can't be a doctor, you have to be a homemaker. And if that's not something she wants to do, then I wouldn't be able to do that. These are students that I have student taught in Waco ISD. All of these children lived below the poverty line. They never saw their parents, and they basically raised themselves or were raised by an older sibling. When I met them, they could not read, they had no emotional regulation, and they had major trust issues. At one point, I was sick one day, and they were surprised to see me the next day, that I actually came back to them. And I was just like kind of a sounding board for them. They were able to talk to me and stuff like that, and they had, when all of the odds were against them, I was the one that empowered them and stood up for them and said, you can do this. These are dreams. You have dreams. You can achieve them. One of my students said, oh, you go to Baylor, that school? I'm never going to make it. I'm never going to go to college in this at kindergarten. And at the end of the year, I asked that student, I said, do you think you can go now? And they said, yeah, I think I can, and I'm going to. And it was just amazing to know that just my small influence, I only saw them for like 2 hours a day, it made a difference because I had an adult that was able to, encourage them. As future teachers, it is our job to empower students no matter what obstacles they may come across. We should encourage them to be what they want to be, whether it's a doctor or a teacher or a nurse or a firefighter, or even if they say they want to go into outer space. The sky is the limit for them, and it's our job to kind of show that to them. So my question for you is, Kikenya had to overcome cultural traditions and even a brutal mutilation. How will you encourage your students to achieve your dream no matter what obstacle they come across?